involved in the data sensing lab here at Strata, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, what does that lab involve, and what are you hoping to learn from it?
Well, the data sensing lab is actually kind of a grand experiment. We are putting together a whole series of data feeds that are being sourced right here at the conference, in the conference space. So we have information that we'll be getting on who's using the wireless networks. We have cameras that are doing stop motion photography. And then we have what I'm most involved in, which is a sensor network, a mesh sensor network of environmental sensors. And those sensors are looking at things like light, they're looking at motion, they're looking at the loudness, the sound levels in the space, they're recording temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, all kinds of different things. There are about 40 of them arrayed throughout the conference space in different places. And they're all connected together using XB radios, which my company makes, to a central gateway, a ConnectPort X2E gateway that takes that information and then passes it up to the iDigi device cloud. And from that device cloud, we are passing information over to a database system on Amazon Web Services. And then the big question is, where does it go from there? So where it goes from there is to a group of data visualization experts that are going to take this big set of data and start looking through it to find interesting information.
Okay.
So that's the shape of the whole project, and it's sponsored by O'Reilly, by Amazon Web Services, and by my company, Digi International.
Right, so it's a significant data gathering effort, right?
It really is, yes.
Now, we've been hearing about personal sensor networks and embedded devices for a while. Have we reached an adoption tipping point, or are we still kind of waiting for it to catch on?
You know, I've been teaching about this for a number of years, and I always talk about how Mark Weiser in 1990 first came up with the concept of ubiquitous computing, this idea of having little computers and little radios in all the objects around us. It was the same year, by the way, that Tim Berners-Lee came up with the concept of the internet. The internet got going an awful lot faster than I think embedded networks did. But just in the last year, I feel like we really have reached that tipping point that there are so many interesting new projects coming, and part of this is the fun things going on in the makerspace. Part of it is just the cost of radio networking coming down enough to the right point, and the speed of computing coming up. Some advances in batteries that have helped us. All those things have come together so that there are now a lot of really interesting things happening. Smart energy was kind of the leader, but now it's popping up everywhere.
Do you think that the computer part of personal computing will fade into the background?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I think the computer is at its most effective when it becomes transparent, where it seems to be just a window into other people or tasks that you're interested in. And I'm hoping that the same will happen for connected devices. You know, it won't be so exciting that your dishwasher can connect to the internet. You'll just think of washing the dishes as being one of those things that you can do online. Laundry, for example,
Sure.
That might be something you monitor online. And so the fact that all these different things are online will fade into the background, and they'll just become part of your day-to-day life.
Right.
That's the world that I think we're interested in seeing, and that's already starting to happen on an industrial level. So Digi's involved with things like refrigerated truck monitoring or vending machine monitoring and control. And we're hoping for those businesses, the fact that they have remote assets out in the world will start to fade away. The fact that they're connected to the internet will start to fade away. And they'll just become used to having control of everything they make.
That'll be the default. The assumption is that those things are connected.
Yeah, and that's really starting to happen now. That's
exciting. That's really exciting.
That's a rolling boulder.
Sure. So last question for you. What is
Yeah.
your take on the Internet of Things? I mean, what do you see happening in that space over the next couple of years?
Well, I think a few different things are going to happen to the Internet of Things. I think, for one, there's going to be a lot of growth, both from kind of a grassroots level. There are a lot of really interesting initiatives where people are monitoring their own homes, where they're putting cameras and sensors in quadcopters and flying them around. I think we're going to see a lot of really interesting data. But also from a top-down, right now, and I would say maybe even a few years ago, it was really only cost-effective to put this sort of monitoring into your most costly assets, maybe an MRI machine or a large refrigerated container. And as prices have come down, as we get just more facile at using these things, I think that's going to come down into an area where it's is right now, where it's appropriate for smaller assets like vending machines, but then eventually come down to just kind of anything that you have. I mean, imagine the utility for a company if there was a device in your microwave that told you exactly how to cook things, so you just wave a package in front of it and put it in. So that's a lot of benefit for the consumer, but also think about the benefit for the manufacturer. Right now, no one has any idea when I use my microwave, if I even still have it. If it's a connected device, they'll know the things that Google knows about my web browsing, and that's going to make them more able to produce really interesting equipment and better serve me in the long run.
Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you taking the
Sure,
time.
thanks very much.